All right. Welcome everyone to our Respect the Road 2025 Summit. Super excited to have everybody here. Want to give a huge shout out to several folks who are in this space or organizations that have been supporting us this year and making sure that this happened today. So we have AAA, the Auto Club of Southern California. We also have Janice Hahn's office, that is one of our LA County supervisors who's been supportive over the last several years. Additionally, we want to give a special shout out to the Los Angeles County Department of Youth Development. We've been able to do a lot of great stuff with them over this last year and more to
Bless
come.
you.
Coven Video, Waymo, Kiwanis Club of Torrance, also the California Highway Patrol, Alley's Way, and we'll talk more about Street Racing Kills and Connected to Lead in a second. So welcome everyone. You all may have seen on the registration or have heard us talk about it previously in regards to the Vows Respect the Road Scholarship. This is an amazing opportunity for you to receive free driving school. In order to receive free driving school, you must stay on for the entire summit. You also need to scan this QR code. We'll also make sure the link gets put in the chat. You can complete the scholarship application, which is step 2. And then step 3, we are going to send you an article focused on a car crash, and you're going to write a 1-page essay. And then on October 19th, we have a scholarship award ceremony where you'll be able to come with your family and have some really good food, check out some really great cars, and receive your scholarship. So we have an amazing committee that's going to review these scholarships, and we'll be able to go from there. Let's talk Street Racing Kills and Connected to Lead. So Street Racing Kills, which is a primary organization putting this event on, their mission is to create awareness regarding the dangers of illegal street racing and reckless driving amongst youth and the community. And so this organization is able to do this nationally. And I'm excited because at Connected to Lead, we get to partner with them. And so I'm Jen. I am one of the team members from the organization who has the opportunity to be here with you today and MC. And so our mission is to create space for people of all ages to make meaningful connections while strengthening the leader within them. And you can see our QR codes here, our websites, and also connecting with us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And so, with that, we are going to transition to give a special thank you to one of our partners, the Los Angeles County Department of Youth Development. And so, if you go to https or www.dyd.lacounty.gov, you'll have the opportunity to find out more about the Los Angeles County Department of Youth Development. And so essentially, what they do is represent a historic investment in youth well being and development with a focus on young people and communities who have been impacted by structural racism, poverty, and criminalization. And so we're thankful for them because we've had the opportunity this year to share lots of great information in regards to traffic safety and making sure young people in Los Angeles County have the ability to get the education, to have access to great information, and also amazing speakers. And so, again, thank you to LA County Department of Youth Development. And so we want to briefly cover our program before we get into some introductions of our presenters for today. So for the summit, we are currently in our welcome and opening. Following this, we will have a keynote with David Carroll, who is with the Los Angeles County Department of Youth Development. Then we will cover topics focused on the fast and fatal. Also, it can wait, the dangers of takeovers and death notifications, the thrill that kills, not when you're angry, Danger Behind the Wheel. We're also going to play Kahoot, so you can get your devices ready, and we'll have a few gift cards that'll be available. We're going to have an evaluation, give out some raffles, and we are going to close by hearing the founder of Street Racing Kills share Valentina's story. So with that, we want to have some introductions for our presenters that will be here today or that are here today. One of our presenters who is on her way is Anaí Picasso, who is a licensed clinical social worker. Some of her favorite things, or some things about her favorite holiday is Halloween. She has danced for folklore in college. She wants to learn ASL, and she does not like pickles. What? Next, we have Jamie. Jamie, take it away.
Well, I'm the founder of Allie's Way to End Distracted Driving. I actually enjoyed racing cars when I was younger. I've raced around Texas World Speedway. I love scuba diving and skydiving. So anything that risked my life, I really enjoyed. Of course, you do it in a controlled environment where it's safe. I was also a former pageant queen, runner-up to Miss Mississippi, fitness competitor. I still lift weights. I still get out there. And now I'm actually a soccer ref. So I've switched gears and now I referee my kids' soccer games.
Awesome. Thank you, Jamie. Again, I'm Jen with Connected to Lead. Some things about me: I love God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. I enjoy volunteering and event planning. I love to bowl. And my most favorite thing to do is pray for myself and other people. And Jacob, who's another member of our Street Racing Kills team, he is a barber. His favorite video game is Call of Duty. His favorite food is all foods, and he will tell you. And he likes to be outside. Lily, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Lovely. So happy to be here. Yes, so I am an exercise freak. I get very crabby if I don't exercise throughout the day. I used to be a Tahitian dancer in my teen years. Love traveling, love animals so much that I cannot even kill a spider.
All right. Thank you, Lily. Next up is Lori.
Hey everybody, my name is Lori Aguimedo. Well, before becoming the Outreach and Community Relations Director for Street Racing Kills, I was actually a boxer for 17 years on the Women's USA boxing team back in 2012, ranking number 3 in the nation at 125 pounds, coming home with an awesome bronze medal. So that's pretty cool. I know how to play the trumpet and the piano because my grandfather was a musician and he raised me. I've done 2 triathlons, 1 half marathon, and I recently completed a full marathon, the LA Full Marathon, in honor of all the people that have lost their life to traffic violence. Nice to meet everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, Lori. And we have Yashima.
Hi, can you guys all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm Yashima. I'm with Connected to Lead. I love frogs. Jen knows that I love frogs. Anything green. I just find them super cute. My favorite color is green since the age of 7. I know it's been a long time, like 13 years. Lots of people think I'm younger than my age. Jen is my witness. Lily is my witness. Lots of people think I'm in high school and I'm in college. What else? I was afraid of heights. I was really scared of roller coasters. I was very afraid of roller coasters and heights, but now I enjoy them and I love them. So that's a couple things about me.
Awesome. Thank you, Yashima. And now we are going to transition to our amazing, amazing, amazing keynote speaker. So for everyone, I would like to introduce David Carroll with the Los Angeles Department of Youth Development.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think it's in every area code and place that we are right now. It's at least afternoon and evening, so I think we're safe. Similar to my other panelists, I do enjoy coaching, playing sports. Have done some reffing in my past. Back in the day when I worked in the corporate world, I used to sneak away from work so that I could spend more time with young people, mentoring, coaching, and doing different activities. I have a lifelong affinity for motor vehicles. Some of these kind of embarrassing, rather dated pictures on here show me back in the 1990s when I was riding a motorcycle, and I've always loved cars. I've got a couple of really old cars right now that I spend a lot of time trying to just keep them running and getting from point A to point B. But I love it. I'm going to go into more of this in my keynote, but I certainly wanted to share that, you know, I've made mistakes also along the way, right? And fortunately, I've come out on the other side of that, but I was reckless, right? And it was only by the grace of God that I did not end up in some of the situations where another person or myself could have been harmed when I was much younger. So I'll definitely talk more about that in the upcoming remarks. So I think that's probably where we are now to get started. So just want to say how much of an honor it is to be here today. Again, I'm David Carroll, the Director of the Department of Youth Development for LA County. We've been fortunate to work with Street Racing Kills over the last year. About a year ago, the Board of Supervisors put forth a motion asking to come up with a way to curtail street racing, right? And a lot of that was focused on law enforcement. For Department of Youth Development, we wanted to focus on prevention, education, and other opportunities for young people to get that same thrill, but without the danger that comes along with it. So I had met Lily at a town hall event and heard her story that you'll hear a little bit later today. And I was moved to the point where I broke some rules. That day I told her, I'm going to figure out a way for us to work together so that you can educate the young people that we work with and prevent them from being a part of any of the tragedies that we hear about far too frequently, both in real time and on the news. So as I mentioned before, I love vehicles, and I'm assuming a lot of you all are on the call for that same reason. I'm curious how many folks on the call actually have their driver's license at this point. If you feel like raising your hand or clapping or anything, I'd be curious to know how many of you folks have already have your driver's license.
There's no, there's yes right there. Okay,
I've got a
Patricia.
15-year-old, and I saw this scholarship about, I'm going to have to look into signing her up because she is ready to take the lessons and get her driver's license. But of course, as a parent, I am terrified because we know of all the dangers that are out there. In fact, Lily, you've met my daughter at one of the town halls.
Yes.
She was 14 then,
Yep.
and now she's 15, and 16 is going to come way too soon. So I'll let you all know, something that not very many people know about me. And this is the not so fun fact. While I haven't had a ticket in over 25 years, when I was 16, I got my driver's license. I drove like an idiot, quite frankly. And by the time I was 18, my driver's license was suspended because of the amount of points that I had accumulated. I can't reiterate how lucky I was to have never gotten into an accident, certainly not to have hurt another person. My life experiences, those experiences, as well as others, are a big reason why I've dedicated my career to youth development. As a Black man growing up in a single parent home, often people saw me as more likely to drop out of school, become incarcerated, become a victim of violent crime, than to graduate from college. But with the care of lots of caring mentors, teachers, programs, I was able to graduate from college with honors and begin a life in career, right? And begin to work with young people in the way that I have for about the last 20 years. Programs, like that put me on the path to success, right? Internships, lots of mentoring opportunities. But they taught me a lot about money, right? And about how to earn money and how to save money. So by the time I was 16, I'd saved up, back then it was a lot of money, about $4,000 for my first car. I love that car. Did everything I possibly could do to a car, probably way too much. I got the windows tinted, changed the wheels, the rims, put a spoiler on it. What I didn't do was obey the rules of the road. So a year later, by the time I was a little bit over 17, my license was suspended. This was right after high school. I got 8 tickets that year. Fortunately, nothing serious. And again, no one ever got hurt. I guess mute. Had something like that happened, this conversation would be very different, and my life would have been dramatically altered. So it really brings to light that even with a wide-ranging set of programs supporting a person, they always need specialized services, right, to help you with other life events. While all those other programs prepared me for college and for career, they didn't prepare me for driving, right, which is a daily activity that all of us engage in. The story of redemption, of course, I eventually got my license back, but it was not, that challenge was not over. For about the next 6 or 7 years, I paid about 3 or 4 times more for insurance than other young drivers. When your license is suspended, what ends up happening is you have to have a special type of insurance, which generally costs a lot more money. Also, when you get those tickets, if you can't pay them, right, that can lead to warrants. And warrants can lead to time spent behind bars. And we know that any time spent behind bars can have a long-term detrimental effect on people. So that's not something that I want to ever happen to any of you on this call. A program like Street Racing Kills, in conjunction with other programs, can prevent a lot of the challenges that you may have in the future and give you the opportunities to enjoy a fruitful path onto adulthood. So that's what we're all about in the Department of Youth Development. Our goal is to help young people gain access to a wide range of programs that can change the trajectory of their lives. Those programs include school, sports, mentorship, diversion, for kids that are in facilities, serving them while they are in the juvenile facilities, camps and halls, and working with young people when they return to community. To give you just a little bit of background about DYD, we were born out of the community. We were born of community activism, folks coming together, looking at the way young people were treated in the juvenile justice system, and recognizing that there had to be a better way. There was a document called Youth Justice Reimagined that was created that really gave us a blueprint on a different way that young people could be treated. Everything from development all the way through serving them if they ended up inside one of the carceral facilities in a camp or a hall. So DYD was created in 2022. I became the first director of the department, and we started working with young people to keep them out of the system and to reduce harm for young people who were already in the system. We focus on development, working with young people in community, trying to make sure that they never come into negative contact with law enforcement. For those young people who come into minor contact with law enforcement, we offer what's called diversion. So a young person gets in trouble, then they have the opportunity to go through a year-long program where they address the issue that happened. They look into the reason why they were involved in that issue. And if they complete that program successfully, that thing goes away and does not follow you for the rest of your life, or certainly for the next several years. For young people who've come into deeper systems involvement, so they have been arrested and incarcerated either in a juvenile camp or hall, we actually are in the facilities every day working with them to provide mentorship, to provide other wraparound programs, art, physical fitness, workforce, everything that they need so that when they return to community, they can access similar programs and not find themselves back in a facility similar to the one that they were in. We continue to work with those young people when they get home. We've got wraparound reentry programs that continue to serve those young people. And we are moving into the space of providing actual housing. So instead of a young person being housed in a juvenile camp or hall, we want to provide a family-like, home-like environment where young people can get access to the resources they need without the trauma of bars and the other traumatizing factors that happen oftentimes in our facilities. We back all this up with research and evaluation. We make sure that what we're doing works. We make sure to continue to talk to young people to make sure that they give us the input that we need to improve the programs, to add new programs, or to stop doing things that are not working for young people that we serve. We actually have to get out here and tell the story. We need folks to know that young people are doing some amazing things. You're smart, you're talented, and you are not what the news tends to portray as a generation lost. So we continue to tell the wonderful stories, and I'm sure that we will share the story of today, right, where over 300 young people are joining this call. We urge you to become part of DYD. We have what's called the Heart of Youth Justice Reimagined, which is a youth space that has frequent meetings where young people are compensated for their time. I believe David is going to put in the chat a link to both the DYD website as well as the Heart of YJR. And we have a big youth summit that is upcoming. It'll be on November the 14th, where we bring together young people from all over the county to access resources, to learn from other young people, and to generally give us advice and feedback on the programs that we provide. I urge you to take full advantage of the workshops and scholarships that Street Racing Kills provides. Of course, if you want to learn more about us, you can visit us at dyd.la, dyd.la. And again, be sure to sign up and attend our November 14th Youth Summit. You can be a person with a passion for cars without putting yourself or others in danger. Unfortunately, I had to learn that lesson the hard way, but because of Street Racing Kills, you can have that lesson now and avoid those challenges that I have. Good luck and enjoy the rest of today's workshop. Thank you. And I'm available for questions if anyone has any questions.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody?
No.
Oh, from Olivia also, thank you. There's some thank yous there. Okay. Anybody else?
There was someone in
Mateo has a question.
Okay, yes, go Mateo.
I had a quick question. You were talking about some of the old cars you had. I was just curious, what you were driving when you were younger.
Well, when I was my first car was a Ford Escort, man. It was not
okay.
It was not a fancy car. After that, I bought an old BMW, a BMW 318. The one that was in the picture, that was a BMW 635. That was a few years later. That was probably about 7 or 8 years after I got out of high school, maybe, yeah, about 7 or 8 years. I drive a BMW now. It's my daily driver, but I've got a 72 Thunderbird that
I love those.
Is always in the shop, and I've got a 1997 convertible Jaguar that has as we speak. So,
love it, love it.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
All right.
I got Loud Radio tickets too. I don't know if they still give those out anymore, but don't get those because those.
Now it's a loud exhaust.
Yeah, exactly.
And earlier in the chat, we had Shawn Michaels. You said you think you have a question or two for Mr. Carroll. So if you want to unmute or if you want to type in the chat, then feel free. We'll see if Shawn has anything to share. So we do have a question in the chat. What positive alternatives can we give to youths who love speed and cars so they don't turn to street racing? Great question.
Yeah, that is a great question. That's one that myself and a group of other folks have been working on and actually having conversations with organizations that actually provide legal alternatives. I know that there's a organization that used to be made up of former sheriff's deputies. They're all retired now, and they do a youth speed workshop. I can effort to get the link and put it in the chat. I think it's LASD Motorsports is what it's called, and they have a series of events. I went to one of their events out at the Pomona Fairplex Raceway over the summer, where they had youth workshops at the beginning, and then it was racing after that. I know that there are other organizations that are working on providing some of those opportunities, free opportunities to young people. they are there are other programs that are available, not necessarily cars. I know that there's some BMX and some motocross tracks that are available around LA County, which has that adrenaline feel, but not necessarily the same as cars. But I would stay tuned. I know that Lily's been in those conversations also, where we are trying to figure out ways for young people to be able to afford, because oftentimes it's expensive to participate in those legal alternatives for street racing at a facility that's at least remotely close to where they live. I know that for some people, Irwindale and some of the other racetracks were a little bit further out, but we are definitely trying to find some alternatives for you.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank
Awesome.
you. Another question from Pamela. Do you think we youths need to max a certain age before hitting the road?
Man, so I mean, you know, that is a great question. You know, the legal age is 16, right? And I think that there's still some requirements before you can drive other young people around. I think that, you know, like everything, I don't think it's always an age. I think it's also a maturity level and a training level. I would certainly feel more confident with a person who's gone through a program similar to a Street Racing Kills, where, you know, they understand the rules of the road as well as the dangers. I see bad drivers every day, and some of them are, you know, older than I am, right? They've been driving, you know, 40, 50 years, and they're still bad drivers. And then I see some younger drivers that are great drivers, at least from what I can tell in the interactions that I have with them. So I think it's really more about being responsible and being aware and really caring about the people around you. You know, oftentimes I think that there's a lack of concern about what could happen if you rush to get to someplace, even if you're not in that big of a hurry, right? The awful things that could happen if you're careless. So I don't think I think that there should be an amount of training, and obviously, you know, the age limits that are set by law, but I think it's more about the training and having respect and concern for those around you.
Okay, we'll take one final question. So we have a comment that says you have to drive for about 9 months as a team before you can drive another person. I think that was from Mateo. Sean Michaels, you will be our last question. So Sean says, I don't think street racing can be eradicated. So is it possible to make it more organized for youth?
Yeah, so they're working on that. I mean, you know, what I don't want to see is a lot of kids going to jail for either being a participant or just being an observer, right? And the move right now is to really arrest anyone that's anywhere near one of these events, right? And that's what we're trying to prevent, right? That's what SRK is trying to prevent, and many of us. So there is a flip side where they're trying to create some other alternatives, and I might, you know, ask Lily to expand on those a little bit more. I know she's got some strong relationships with some legal alternatives that are really trying to build up steam. I also want to share that, you know, the kids that are coming out there aren't making money, right? They're coming out because they have a love of cars and they want to see it, and it's an exciting event. But there are people who are making money, right? Who are profiting off of it, and you know, many of those folks are the social media influencers who are kind of setting up these events, and they're making money. And the more, honestly, the more awful the thing is that they get on video, the more people watch it, the more comments and likes they get, and honestly, the more money they make off of someone else's tragedy. So that is something that folks are trying to take a look at, taking that financial piece out of it, so that some people aren't profiting off of other folks' pain.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. I really appreciate you all for letting me.
Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you, David. Great questions,
Yes.
everyone.
Yes, thank you all very much for the questions that you asked. And David, fantastic, fantastic, everything that you shared. Again, check out the links that were placed in the chat that regarding the Department of Youth Development and some of the programs that they have. And so with that, we are going to transition to our very own Lori, and she is going to be sharing with you all the fast and fatal. And Lori, you may have seen the question in the chat about the biggest misconceptions people have about street racing. So we will just field it to you since this is your second section. Take it away.
No, no worries. Let me go ahead and present my slide so you guys can see this. All right. I'm going to ask you guys, what is the most famous movie that makes fun sound so fun and exciting? Anybody know what movie? I think we're on part 10.
Yep, here we go.
Anybody?
A lot of people. FF, that's what they're saying.
Fast and the Furious, right?
Fast
Fast
and
and the
Furious,
Furious.
yes.
To
Yes.
include, there's definitely lots of video games, GTA, other video games about how speed is fun and exciting, right? So that is why we had created Fast and the Fatal, because in real life, what happened to Paul Walker, right? He lost his life in a street while he was driving extremely fast with a professional race car driver that knew exactly what he was doing. But our streets are not meant for that type of speed. And Lily and I have been to the track plenty of times because we do actually like to take the youth to the track if you want to do it and you really enjoy it, we want to encourage you to find a place to do that where it's safe and you're not going to take somebody's life. Right. So we do take people to the track. We always encourage to find tracks that are out there. There are a lot of tracks out there that you can go to. And even in Arundel, before it closed, there was a burnout box. And we used to take people to the burnout box all the time. But yes, so let's talk a little bit about why I started working for Street Racing Kills. My niece was actually killed about 6.5 years ago by a young man that was street racing. My niece was only 3 years old at the time when these two young men, they were 19 and 18 years old, decided to race down a residential street. Now, this is when the pandemic actually started back in 2019. Our streets were pretty empty. They thought it was a good idea to race down this residential street, not thinking twice about the consequences if something went wrong. And unfortunately, they got up to a speed of about 100 miles per hour when they ran a stop sign. And when they ran that stop sign, my niece and my nephew were in a vehicle on her way to pick up her little girl, and she was hit on her side of the vehicle at 100 miles per hour. So why I work for this organization is because, one, Bethany should have never lost her life that day. That crash was 100% preventable. So I wanted to make sure that my niece's death was not in vain. Two, when we laid Bethany to rest, I would say there was about 250, maybe 300 people at her funeral. And I was thinking, man, like, look at all these people here. Like, everybody's here to pay their respects. I wonder if she actually knew all of these people. But I was so happy that they came out, to honor her life. And then one by one, everybody started telling a story. We actually had to extend the funeral because everybody had a story about how Bethany made an impact to their life. And I realized I don't want Bethany to be forgotten. We're going to lay her to rest today, and then everyone's going to forget about her. So I promised her that I was going to keep her memory alive, not just for the sake of me, but the sake of her little girl that she had. So not easy for me to talk about Bethany's story, but if I could save one person's life, if I could save one family from going through the exact same tragedy that we went through, it's 100% worth it, right? I guarantee you, man, there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about Bethany. I have a little shrine in my house with her picture. I talk to her basically every day, even after this program today. There's people that I'm looking at the comments that'll definitely leave an impact on me, that I'll go back and tell her, guess what, we did this today and we talked about you. And I know that, people learn from your story. But my niece was going to school to be a nurse. She was really excited. She did have her daughter at a very young age. And she was only 17 when she got pregnant. And I remember being so upset with my niece that she was so young, and she was really good in school and she was an athlete herself. So I was like, what do you do? So upset with her. But Bethany was such an amazing mom. She totally embraced being a mother. And when she passed, this is all I have left of Bethany is her daughter, and that's her little mini me. So she was going to school to be a nurse. She was really excited to give her daughter a better life. And unfortunately, she lost her life because of somebody else's bad choice, right? And she wanted to save people's lives. That's what she was going to school for. So this is a different way. I know Bethany is still saving lives. I'm just sharing her story to help save lives and continue to do what she really wanted to do. I can tell you my family will never be the same. There are some things that I never thought that I was going to have to do in my lifetime. I had to identify my niece's body. I had to tell her little girl that her mommy was never coming home, something that she still doesn't really understand until this day. I had to plan her funeral because a majority of my family just couldn't do it. And my niece was actually had a boyfriend at the time, and he had been together for some time. And he had asked my husband for permission to marry my niece. And my niece had found that ring. She was so excited about it. She had called, we were talking about it. We planned the whole wedding down to exactly how she wanted her makeup to be. And she was a makeup guru. She always had the coolest makeup you could think of. And unfortunately, I had to do that same makeup for her funeral instead of for her wedding. So, couple things is, May 11th, 2019, 10:33 p.m., my niece was actually pronounced dead. This is the day before Mother's Day. Unfortunately, the crash was so bad that her body was not taken out of the vehicle until 4 a.m. on Mother's Day. So Mother's Day will never be the same for my family. It is a grim reminder of what happened to Bethany and why it's important not to drive recklessly. So this is a picture of Bethany's memorial. This is where Bethany took her last breath on May 11, 2019. And I know that you guys have probably passed memorials before. And one thing I'm going to ask you is when you pass them, just think there's always a story behind these memorials. There's a family that probably lost a loved one. There's somebody that's going to be charged eventually for the death of that person, depending on what occurred that day. In Bethany's case, the young man that took her life that day, he was ultimately charged with this was a hit and run, by the way. Unfortunately, this was a hit and run, and he was found 3 months after the crash. And he was charged with vehicular manslaughter, felony hit and run, and bodily injury to a passenger. Now, the laws today were much different when back 6.5 years ago. Today, that young man probably would have been charged with second-degree murder or felony manslaughter, which carries a very different sentence, 25 years to life. Back then, those laws weren't in place. So he was actually given a plea deal. He was given a 7-year prison sentence for what occurred that day. And I'm going to tell you guys, no matter what he received, it doesn't bring back Bethany, right? And when I was in the courtroom the day of sentencing, when you take somebody's life, families are given the opportunity to give a victim impact statement. And I remember going up there and I remember telling that young man everything that he took away from us because, I was devastated that I lost my niece. And I go up there and I tell him everything that I needed to tell him. And then I realized something. I turned around and I can hear everybody crying in that courtroom. And it was the first time that I realized his family was in that courtroom. My family was in that courtroom. And the tears in our eyes looked nothing different. And I came to realization that we all lost that day. There's a mother losing her son for 7 years, maybe brothers, cousins, uncles. My niece is not coming back, right? We all lost that day. And I'm sure if that young man had an opportunity to do over, he would take it back, right? He didn't wake up that morning with any intentions of taking Bethany's life. His 15 seconds of adrenaline rush changed everybody's life forever, to include the people that had to witness her lose her life that day on that street. So I just want to let you guys know, this is Emilio, her little brother that was with her that day. He was in critical condition. It took him a year to recover from his injuries. Half of his skull had been removed after the crash, major brain injury. Until this day, he's on anti-seizure medication for the rest of his life. And this is our new reality. Everything that we do moving forward revolves around us going to the cemetery to visit Bethany. From birthdays to Mother's Day to Christmas to her favorite holiday, Halloween. And this year, Bethany would have been 30 years old. So for the last 6 years, her little girl has to blow out her mommy's candles because of reckless driving. So I just want to leave you with that, guys. please, as you start to drive, be safe out there. Always wear your seatbelt. Be mindful of others on the street, because you are the one that is responsible for that vehicle, and it can easily become a deadly weapon if you're not driving safely. So thank you guys for letting me share Bethany's story. Back over to you, Jen.
Lori, before you go, we had a question in the chat early when you started speaking in regards to how old Bethany's little girl is.
Bethany's little girl was 6 when her mom passed away. She is now 12 years old, and she's a little soccer player.
Oh, I love it. Well, we are actually going to transition and have an opportunity to focus on It Can Wait. And so I'd like to bring up Jamie White from Allie's Way.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being on here, and thank you to Street Racing Kills for having me. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Much like the Lori's story and Lily's story, of course, Allie was named after my daughter, 2-year-old Allie White, when she was killed by a distracted driver. So a lot of times, people think that, it's like this habit. I've got to reach for my phone. I have to stay in touch with my friends. I have to text my mom. There are multiple reasons why people text and drive, or they look at their phone while they're driving, and none of it is worth it. It's just, you're risking a life when you do this. And so we just really want you to keep in mind the victims, the consequences, the possible consequences for this type of action. And like I said, that's why I'm here. I want to make sure that you guys understand that there are consequences when you guys text and drive, or when you use the phone and drive. Because realistically, can you look forward to watch where you're going? Can you look on your side mirrors to make sure that you're not going to be hit by somebody else or sideswiped by somebody else that may be distracted driving? You got to look in your rearview mirror to see, oh my gosh, is I'm stopped at this red light, or traffic is slowing down. Is the traffic behind me slowing down? Is the guy behind me going to stop their car before they hit rear end me and potentially kill me? So all of these things you have to realize, you have to understand that as you're driving, you have to drive defensively, meaning not only do you have to drive safely, you have to watch for everybody else around you. It's like you have to drive for them. So how can you realistically do that and maneuver a 4,000-pound vehicle, which is a weapon, while you're texting or talking on the phone? It is not possible. So I'm going to share with you really quickly our story, Allie's story, in hopes that maybe this will change your thinking about distracted driving, and maybe create an advocate in you that can go share these stories and make a positive impact in your families, your friends, and in your communities. So with that, I'm going to share Allie's story. So what I would like the world to know about Allie is that she was amazing. She was such a beautiful child, inside and out. She brought our family so much love. Allie was incredible with her siblings. She and her older sister, Madison, were extremely close. The boys, on the other hand, she liked to boss around. She was kind of like a little mom, and she would keep the boys in check. But they adored her. They followed her everywhere, and they just loved her. Allie just loved spending time with us. So I think that made her the happiest, just that one-on-one time with her. We enjoyed going to the park. We would feed the ducks, and she would play in the playscape. She loved going to get ice cream at Baskin Robbins, or, wherever we went. Or there's another time when we were on vacation in Orlando, and she and the other kids were on a pier, and overlooking a big lake or a pond. Then she walked down and she wanted to get closer to the ducks. The sun started hitting her, like just a beam of sunshine came through, and she spread her arms out and she started twirling around just because she was happy. And it was the most beautiful moment because the sun hit her just right, and her beautiful blonde hair was just shining and her eyes were sparkling, and she just had the happiest look on her face, like she was just enjoying herself so much, and she was twirling around like most 2-year-olds do. When I watch her video during my presentations, it's almost like I'm reliving those moments. So they're beautiful, and I tend to smile because it feels good just to almost kind of put myself back in that moment. But then it's so sad and so devastating because then I know the moment passes. The day that it happened, we came home from church and the boys were getting ready to go to soccer, and Allie wanted to go because she loved watching her brothers play soccer. When they got to the soccer field, my husband parked in the closest possible parking spot to the field. He parked right beside a median, which was in full view of incoming cars. He got Allie out of her car seat, put sunscreen on her, and he leaned in for a split second to put the sunscreen away. And when he did, Allie walked from his right side behind his back to his left side, and then she started stepping off the curve because she had seen Brady waving to her from the other side of the aisle. And of course, she naturally wanted to be by her brother, so she stepped off the curve. At that moment, Chris had seen a car coming into the parking lot way too fast. She was holding her phone to her face with her right hand. She didn't look to make sure there were no pedestrians. Her boys in the back were yelling at her to stop. My husband tried to pull Allie up and out of the way. He was actually right beside Allie at that point, because when he saw her coming into the parking lot too fast, he immediately went by Allie's side and tried to move her. It was too late, and as I said, she was going too fast. So he tried to pull her up out of the way. He couldn't get her out of the way in time, and the driver ran over my daughter in front of my husband.
When we approached, we saw that Allie was not moving and people were trying to give her first aid. We had the fire department come in, and the EMS folks also came, and it was a very emotional scene for everyone involved. As a father, a parent, it was very emotional for me as well. Our investigation then started. We were able to identify the vehicle that had struck Allie, and the witnesses on scene told us that they believed she was on the phone when the accident happened. So our investigation centered around the distracted driving, and also if there was any other criminal aspect to this accident.
When we lost Allie, I lost a large part of myself. As her mom, we were really bonded and we were really connected. She turned on a piece of my personality, part of my character that I didn't know I had. And now that's gone. And we can't get that back. My husband and I have been so good about forging on. we've used our faith as humongous strength building tools to get us through all of this, because without faith you can't survive this. The first thing we did was we said we have to end this. We can't let this happen to another family. We need awareness, and we need to change behaviors of our drivers. So in January of 2020, we created our 501c3 called Allie's Way. And really, I think we wanted to keep Allie's memory alive. We wanted to save others, and we wanted to share her story with everybody. After we started Allie's Way, things just started progressing so quickly. I was invited to speak, of course, because of COVID, on virtual Zoom meetings for TxDOT, for AAA. I did some work with State Farm, and eventually I was contacted by Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, their passenger safety program. Allie's Angels is a teen community service group. There are adults out there that are already on the roads. They've already got bad habits. The teens are new drivers. They don't have those bad habits yet. So let's get to those drivers before they build those habits. So I thought, by building this teen community service group, those teens go out into the community and serve the community and do good for the community in Allie's honor. So it's not only spreading the message, it's teaching them about safe driving. It's spreading the message about Allie's story and distracted driving awareness while they're serving the community and doing something really nice.
Just that the white families advocacy has led us to, as police officers and as a police department here at the Round Rock Police Department, to take distracted driving very seriously. Since this incident, we've become more educated, and we've used enforcement efforts to hopefully decrease the prevalence of distracted driving crashes throughout the city. And it was a unique opportunity through Jamie's advocacy to learn more about this problem and to continue to enforce those laws.
I lost my beautiful 2-year-old daughter to a distracted driver. This is completely preventable. This has to end now. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there. We have lots of partners that, including Street Racing Kills, that understands how detrimental this is. When you are distracted, you're also more likely to speed. So it goes hand in hand together. And our mission is to end this, to end all of our traffic fatalities. So we want you to really be paying attention to the road, not just for yourselves, for other people, and for your families, for your communities, for everybody. We have to keep you safe and those around you safe. Some of the things that happened with the driver, she was holding the phone to her face, so her visibility was blocked. She didn't see Allie. Her focus was on that conversation. So her mind was on what she was saying, what that person was saying to her. It wasn't on, oh, there's a pedestrian over there. And it was so severe that the kids in her car were screaming at her to stop because they saw Allie, but she didn't see Allie because her attention was taken away. So she wasn't alert for pedestrians, and she was speeding. If you guys can put in the chat how fast do you think she was going, I'll tell you in just a second, but just take a second to put in the chat. If you want to guess, you can guess how fast the driver was going in that parking lot. We have the police have speculation. They don't have solid proof on how fast she was going, but based on the crime scene and all of that, they pretty much told us how fast they believe that she was going. So if everybody's put their guesses in the chat, it was 20 miles an hour. So for those of you that are new drivers, at most you should be going 10 miles per hour in a parking lot at most, and that's not even really that safe. We suggest 5 because that gives you enough time to respond in case a little kid runs out from between 2 cars, which is not actually what happened in Allie's case. Her dad had his hands on her. He was trying to pull her out of the way before the car ran over her. So you can see how severe distractions can be and how quickly they can take a life. Just quick tips for you to keep yourself safe and keep others safe. Pull off the road. If it's an absolute emergency, guys, just use Siri. Say, hey, Siri, send a message. Mom, I'm running late. You're done, right? So we can use Siri. We can use our technology so that we don't have to touch the phone. We don't have to have our mind off that drive. We can say, hey, Siri, send a message. Mom, I'm running late. Send. Done. End of discussion. We don't need to have a phone call. If you are 18 years old or below the age of 18, at least I know this is in Texas, I believe it's nationwide, you are not actually legally allowed to talk on the cell phone while you're driving. And maybe they can correct me on that if I'm wrong. So you're not even allowed to talk on the phone while you're driving if you're under the age of 18. Each state has their own laws though. So I would suggest not doing it anyway, even if you're over 18. It's going to take your attention off the road and it's going to take your focus off of what it really needs to be. We need to have our eyes on the road, hands on the wheel at all times. So we always say, do it Allie's way, hands free every day. It's Allie's way. That's our motto. And we want to live by that. Some things you can do to help us. I'm going to skip past this one. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to go back because this is a really cool slide. For those of you that like football, you can drive the length of a football field in 5 seconds. So that means that even just reading the text, that's not even responding, just reading the text takes you 5 seconds. Would you put a blindfold on, get in your car, and during a football game, drive across the football field? No, right? So we don't want to do that. We don't want to drive distracted because it's the same thing. And guys, if you've ever seen a drunk driver on the roads, their behavior is the same as a distracted driver. So you can't tell the difference between a drunk driver and a distracted driver. And I know you wouldn't get in the car with a drunk driver. So now I know you wouldn't get in the car with a distracted driver. Because let me tell you, the #1 cause of traffic fatalities across the United States is distracted driving. It's no longer drunk driving. So now when you get in that car and your friend is distracted, you're going to say what? Think about it. So here's some ideas. Hey, I'm not comfortable with that. Hey, can I do that for you? Hey, I'll play the music. I'll switch the music. So let your friends be the DJ and then you focus on the drive. Okay. So I hope you guys are all safe and you stay focused on our roads. Let your friends do the texting. Let your friends play the music. If your parents are in the car, teens, you guys are advocates for your parents. Say, hey, Mom, can I send that message? Hey, Mom, I don't feel comfortable with that. So be an advocate, be a leader, and keep your family safe, keep your friends safe, keep your community safe. And thank you all so much for having me on here. If you want to see Allie's Way or follow us, I'm going to skip through these a little bit because I don't. Oh, yes. And we are also, we have worked with NASCAR in the past. So we talked about street racing. Yes, always do it responsibly. And NASCAR believes in non-distracted driving. And the simple reason is that they say they see it. These NASCAR drivers are more comfortable on the track than they at racing at 200 plus miles per hour than they are actually on the roads. And it's because at least the drivers on the track are paying attention. They're not distracted. So anyway, just a little fun fact for you guys. If you want to follow Allie's Way, please go to our website. Look, ideas for you guys. If you want to be leaders and keep your community safe, spread awareness, build safe driving clubs in your schools. Awesome idea. Shows leadership qualities, great for the college resume, and get involved in Street Racing Kills, Allie's Way, and all of the other safe driving organizations in your communities. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you,
Jamie.
Jamie.
We appreciate you. And so now we are going to switch gears and we're going to have an opportunity to talk about takeovers and death notifications. And so Lily and Lori will be presenting that. Take it away, ladies.
Thank you.
Give it up for Jen again, our
Okay.
MC. Woo woo. Jen, thank you
Yeah,
so
thank
much.
you,
And
Jen.
Allie, it was so nice. Thank you so
Could
much
not do
for, I
without
mean,
you.
Jamie, thank you so much for sharing Allie's story. I love
Allie, Jamie.
Allie is beautiful.
Thank you. All right, everyone. So check your side. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Anybody here can put on the chat if you ever heard a car outside your house, hearing the sounds of the takeovers, hearing the sounds of doing the donuts. A lot of people have, because the report shows the dramatic increase in street takeovers across Los Angeles County. There was a noted jump in incidents across the county, but incidents in the second district saw a troubling 64% increase in the last 3 months of 2024. So there was noticeable difference between districts with the 13 takeovers happening in the first district from July to September, while there were 191 more in the second district and 76 in the fourth district at the same time span. So overall, the second district saw nearly 300 different incidents here in Los Angeles, California, everyone. So it is a problem.
All right, so Lily said something really important. Have you guys ever heard of a street takeover before? Give me some yeses, some nos. Anybody ever heard of a street takeover? All right. Has
Yes.
anybody ever been to a street takeover? Has anybody
Yes.
ever been invited to a street takeover? Yes, thank you for your honesty,
Yeah.
right? It's definitely,
Yes.
it's happening. It's going on. All right, so I'm going to ask you guys a really important question. What do you think can go wrong at an illegal street takeover? You can unmute or you can put it in the chat. What do you guys think can go wrong?
People get hit.
Yes,
Absolutely,
exactly.
Alexander.
Shoot
Yep,
out.
they lose control. Do you think they're professional drivers doing those donuts in the
Who they run
intersections
over,
or wherever they're at?
I really hear
Fights?
people that run over a
Bringing
lot.
guns with you.
Absolutely. People bring guns too. What about that? Have you guys ever seen any violence occurring at these street takeovers?
People can get kidnapped.
A lot of street takeovers
Very
are
Wyatt,
colliding with
I
gangs.
absolutely right. Illegal stuff. It's right. It's everybody's party. It's not just your party. Everybody's invited, and you do not know who's at these takeovers. Definitely gun violence. Definitely gangs coming there. You have drugs going on. You know, there's things that you don't think about because there's people that are there to, you know, it's an adrenaline rush. It's I've seen it's a trend. There's all the social media about it. But there's so many things that can go wrong at these street takeovers. To include, do you guys know about the new laws that have been put in place because of all the street takeovers that have happened? Does anybody know about any of the laws that are put in place? Yes, and there is human trafficking, definitely, because
Yes.
Hawaii did mention that we
Very
have
good.
met with the street racing task force, and there's definitely some human trafficking going on. All right, so what laws have been put in place, right? I think knowledge is power. You guys got to know, one, it's not dangerous to attend these. I mean, it's not safe to attend the street takeovers because of all the things that we just talked about, right? You don't go there thinking that it's going to happen to you. I promise you, Lily and I have talked to way too many families that have lost their children or those that have been disabled for the rest of their lives because they thought it wasn't going to happen to them, right? Now, in addition to that, there has been new laws put in place. Did you know that you can get cited for just being at a street takeover? Did you guys know that? So if you attend a street takeover, you can get cited. Also, there are cities that have put in place different city ordinances. So if you are participating in these takeovers, you can actually get fined. I'll give you an example. The city of Paramount, their fine is $2,500 if you are caught participating in a street takeover, even if you're just spectating. Good to know, right? I mean, it's important to know these things. Lily, anything else you want to add about what can go wrong at an illegal street takeover?
Well, as we said, lootings, people will start trying to loot a store. The next door is where they take advantage to do that. Of course, we talked about human trafficking, people get hit, gun violence, stabbings. I mean, you name it. Cars get on fire. I mean, and when the police gets there, a lot of people just run. You can get stampede on. I mean, people can just run over you not even knowing. So it is very, very, very dangerous. And we have heard way too many stories, unfortunately, like Eliza Oaxaca, who was killed 2 years ago, unfortunately, to a car that was doing donuts and took her life.
All right, we're going to share that story in just a little bit too about Eliza Oaxaca. Actually, it was 3 years ago now, Lily. 2022 on Christmas Day, she lost her life. And let me tell you guys, Eliza Oaxaca wasn't even in the middle of the pit when they were doing the donuts. She was pretty, kind of what she thought was a safe distance from what was occurring when that vehicle actually struck a tow truck that was there, lost control, and went straight into where Eliza Oaxaca was standing. And she was pinned between the vehicle and the pole, and she lost her life that day. So imagine your parents on Christmas Day getting this phone call of your child losing their life, not even knowing that they're at this street takeover on Christmas Day. It's like the worst news that any parent could ever have, and no parent should have to bury their children. Now, speaking of these takeovers, what about police officers? The things that they see when they're going out there and going to these takeovers or these different street racing that are going on. Did you guys know, and I think the next slide talks about death notifications. Did you guys know that police officers have to give death notifications? Or have you ever heard of a death notification? I'll wait to see in the chat. Has anybody ever heard of a death notification? What that is? Nope. Okay, so say no.
No,
No.
I am happy,
Yes.
actually. Some
Say
yes,
yes.
okay.
I have not. Okay. So we're going to share a video and we're going to let a police officer give his explanation of what a death notification is. And it's something that Lily and I both did not know until we had received received one. But I didn't realize that this was part of a police officer's job. And it gives me a different perspective on police officers because as David said in the beginning, nobody's perfect, right? I've got a ticket before in my lifetime. And I thought when the police officer was giving me this ticket, I'm trying to justify, I wasn't going that fast. I wasn't, when I was younger. And then I realized that the same thing that I did that day could have easily led to somebody's death, right? And so that's why police officers, take this seriously because they see it all the time. And they're the ones that have to give these death notifications. And they're the ones that have to do the investigations and see these body parts and put up the caution signs. Imagine having to give a family the worst news of their life. So, Jen, over to you. I think you have a video on death notifications.
Yes. First, we're going to watch a video on takeovers. Then we will watch a video on death notifications.
I never thought it could be me, honestly. I thought everything was going to be another normal day. I went out and I was doing donuts, and that day kind of changed my life forever. I was born here in California and got out of high school. That's kind of like more so when my passion with cars started, and I started attending the street takeovers when I was around 17. I can say when you're out there at takeover, it's just like everybody can come out here and kind of be themselves, and it was a every weekend thing for me from that point on. I was in my car waiting to go into the pit. I started my burnout and get to doing my donuts with them, and my car goes into a crowd of people. I just remember getting out and I looked around and I seen everybody getting up off the ground. I thought, this would be like any other time that everybody would just get up and be okay, but unfortunately that was not what panned out to be that day. Unfortunately, a young woman lost her life, and it's something that I deeply regret for doing and being responsible for. And you never think it could be you until it's actually you, that I would be responsible for somebody's death from doing donuts. It's not worth it. It's not worth burning a little rubber, Even though you feel like you're in control, you never know what could happen. I don't want nobody that shared the same passion as me to have to go through the same thing as me, because, accidents happen, mistakes happen. And, if it can be avoided, then let's just stop it. You don't have to go out and do donuts in the middle of the intersection to show your love for cars, It's dangerous. Somebody can and will get hurt. I never thought.
Lily, I know that you worked with Eliza
I
Oaxaca's
never thought
mother. Can
it
you
could be.
share us a little more about, Eliza Oaxaca and her mom and what everything they had to go through?
Very, very, very sad situation with Eliza Oaxaca's mother when she reached out to us. They were so surprised as Eliza Oaxaca was just starting her career, trying to become a nurse, going to college. She was the boss of the house too. She was the only girl with so many brothers. And the dad, they never thought this was happen. Like I said, she was just at home, guys. She was just at home on Christmas Day when two friends invited her to go. She didn't want to go, but they tried to pressure her and she ended up going. Unfortunately, she never came back home. Her family, forever grieving. Liza's mom is not doing okay at all. Little by little, she's learning how to live again with a broken heart. So it's been really, really hard for the mom, the dad, and the brothers to be without Eliza.
And something we want to point out to you guys, like again, knowledge is power. So I told you the laws have changed from back, 6.5 years ago when I started working with the organization to where we are today. That young man was actually charged with second-degree murder. He ended up taking a plea deal, but he was looking at 25 years to life. He ultimately got a 13-year sentence for what occurred that day. And as you can hear in his video, he wishes that he never would have done what he did that day. And if he had an opportunity to take it back, he would. And now he has to live with the fact that he took somebody's life forever, and that doesn't go away. All right, Jen,
I
over to
never
death
thought it could be
notification.
me.
My name is LJ Fiorenzano, and I graduated in November of 2009 from the Rhode Island State Police Training Academy. Going up to a fatal car crash is something that I never could have imagined doing. There's nothing that can prepare you to look at a dead body. You have to deal with it because everybody is looking at you to take control of the scene and to put all the pieces back together to make sense for everybody else. I have made several death notifications, and it is by far the worst part about law enforcement. There's no training, there's no experience that makes it any better for you. No matter how many times you do it, it just does not get any easier. The most recent one I did was, there was a wrong-way crash on Route 10. The couple who was hit head-on by a wrong-way driver were trapped inside their vehicle, and the rescue personnel had let us know that they were both deceased on the scene. We went to the female's house first, knocked on the door, and it's 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. A male came to the door, and we asked him if he knew the victim, and he said, yes, that's my daughter. We tell him, your daughter was involved in a crash, and unfortunately she was killed in that crash. The mom physically collapsed right on the floor in front of us. And the father put his hand on his face. He said, what about the child? So now here's a child who's definitely not gonna have a mom and a dad when she wakes up for Easter morning. Here we are walking out of a home in which their daughter was just killed in a crash because somebody made an incredibly poor decision to drive drunk on the highway the wrong way, go head on, crash, and take their lives for something that should have been 100% preventable. So as we're leaving there, their family's destroyed. So now we had to do it again. We leave from there, we go over to the other house. We had to let them know that their son was killed in a crash, and we had to tell them that their son's girlfriend was killed in a crash. And it was the same reaction. The mom crumpled down, she took 2 steps back and physically collapsed on the couch. And the father just looked down at the ground. I can't believe it, I can't believe it. What do we do next? What are we supposed to do from here? The only way I can describe it is, you're about to tell somebody the worst news that they've ever heard. It's just going to be the most awful thing emotionally, physically, and mentally that they're going to go through at this moment in their lives. And you're the reason. You have to tell them that.
Thank you, Jen. All
Thank
right, and we
you.
just wanted to give you guys a different perspective on police officers, and one of the things that I didn't realize they had to do as part of their job. All right, back over to you, Jen.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies. So I'm super excited that we've had what we've had tonight, and that I have the opportunity of talking to you all about the thrill that kills. And so my focus tonight is on driving under the influence or driving impaired, because sometimes people think that when you drink alcohol or smoke weed or misuse prescriptions or abuse prescription drugs, or use some other kind of substance, that's when the real party begins, or that's going to bring the thrill. But we want you all to understand the impact that substance use and abuse can have on you while you're driving. So I want to first provide some context regarding 3 different types of drugs, and then we are going to talk a little bit about the 3 types of crashes and also the impacts on driving. So underage drinking. Something I want to focus on are Alcopops. These are sweetened, sugary types of alcoholic beverages. Oftentimes they're like limeritas or like margarita type drinks, Smirnoff Ice, those types of drinks, right, that have a lot of sugar. Those aren't the only types of alcoholic drinks that are out there, but with these drinks, they tend to be marketed for young people. And so you all as young people might see more advertising for them. You might be interested in the different colors or enjoy the flavor because of how sweet it tastes. But understand that alcohol interferes with your brain. And the legal age is 21. Though the legal age is 21, our brains are not fully developed until we're 25. And so it's important to understand that the research has shown that if you drink before the age of 15, you are 5 times more likely to abuse or become dependent on alcohol than someone who drinks after the age of 21. And it's important to also understand that if someone consumes alcohol, and even if they feel like they're okay to drive, you could be impaired in a way that impacts your ability to see what's in front of you, to have proper coordination as you're driving, to react in time, and all of the things that are really important when you are driving. And especially since you all are teens, we want to encourage you to live a drug-free life and to make sure when you ride in the car with someone that they too are living a drug-free life and not under the influence of any substance, because if they crash, that can impact you as a passenger. Now, marijuana, it comes in different forms. In the United States, it is still against the law federally, but some states have legalized marijuana recreationally or medicinally in their particular state. Now, even with the legalization on the state level, marijuana still has a lot of impacts. And so we wanted to focus on edibles because they tend to be pretty popular with young people outside of smoking marijuana through a vape pen. But for edibles in particular, most of them contain THC, and THC is the active ingredient in marijuana that makes you high. One of the challenges with edibles in particular is that when you take an edible, the high feeling that you get is delayed. And so oftentimes people will eat more of the product and then it kicks in. A lot more people are using various forms of marijuana products and getting behind the wheel of a car. And unfortunately, that doesn't just impact them, it impacts every single person on the road. It impacts people who are acting as pedestrians. And so it's important to understand that if you receive some candy from someone, that you are checking it, that you make sure it's a product that you recognize, and that you aren't taking any edibles or using marijuana in any form, because the impacts of it can definitely be dangerous, and even more so behind the wheel of a vehicle. Now, I want to talk about THC, as I mentioned, the active ingredient in marijuana and how it impacts the brain. So with this picture here, everywhere that you can see those those yellow squares, that is where marijuana impacts the brain. So the active ingredient THC. So it impacts movement, it impacts judgment, reward system, memory, coordination, and sensations. And so understand that if marijuana is impacting your coordination, what will that do if you're behind the wheel of a vehicle and let's say a pedestrian decides to jaywalk and they walk right out in front of you, right? What about judgment and making decisions as you are driving? All of these things are extremely important. And so we also want to talk about fentanyl. There are a lot of prescription drugs that are out there, but of course, it's important to talk about some of the growing trends, and fentanyl is one of those growing trends. And so you might have heard of fentanyl. You might have seen a news article or something like that. And something to keep in mind with fentanyl, if you look at this picture here, you all know the size of a penny, I assume. The fentanyl that is in this picture is right here. This small amount of fentanyl can kill you. This small amount of fentanyl can kill you. It's important to understand how strong fentanyl is and the impacts that it can have on you. One of the reasons why this is important is because there are some people who are making pills that look like candies, and they're giving them out to people your age. And not only do we want you to be safe, but we also want you to understand that if you were to take something like this and then get behind the wheel of a vehicle, it can severely impact your driving, and then ultimately cause death. And so one of the drugs that we're seeing be laced with fentanyl is called rainbow fentanyl. And so if you were to ever get some candy or something and you see this printed on here, it's important to understand that it can come in a pill form, it can come in a powder form, but most importantly, it is something that can impact you health-wise and ultimately lead to death. And so with fentanyl, with alcohol, other types of prescription drugs, with marijuana, or any other substance, it can definitely impact your driving. So if you were to drive while under the influence of alcohol, marijuana, prescription drugs, or any other type of substance, it can result in harmful effects like having a delay in your reflexes, lane shifting, or even veering off into other people's lanes, having poor coordination, you may have trouble reacting. There may be road signs that you can't really focus on. You may have a hard time with various sounds. So let's say you're driving and an emergency vehicle has their sirens going and they need to get through. It may impair you in that way. And it's important to understand with these types of things, but also cognitively, right? How you think, it can impact your critical thinking. And so it's important that when we're driving with a clear mind, that we are driving with a clear mind, and that we are making sure that we understand the privilege it is to be a driver, but also the power that we have behind that steering wheel. And so to conclude, I want to talk about the 3 types of crashes because this is important. Now, you all may have experienced a car crash because you were a passenger, or maybe for some of the adults on, you were a driver of a vehicle. You may have seen a car crash in a movie. Fast and Furious has several of them. You may have also heard of a car crash from someone or something. And so with a car crash, there are 3 types of crashes that take place. The first is the car against an object. So the car hits another car, the car hits a person, maybe the car runs up on the curb and it hits a tree, but the car against an object. The second type of crash is our bodies against an object. So when we wear seat belts, which is important for us to have on, it acts as a restraint so we don't fly all over the car, so we don't go through the window, so we don't sustain severe injuries. That is the goal. And because it acts as a restraint, our body still connects with the seatbelt. If we don't wear a seatbelt, then all of the things that I mentioned could happen, right? So our bodies can be impacted that way. If the airbags pop and our face connects with the airbags, then that is another way that our body is connecting with an object, right? Or maybe my arm hits the window when the crash happens, whatever the case may be, but our bodies against an object. The third type of crash is our organs against our bodies. And so what this slide, the example in this slide is focused on, let's just say you were in a car driving and you end up getting into a car crash. And this car crash is so severe that the car roof caves in, right? The car you're in, the roof caves in and it connects with your skull and then connects with your brain. And then you start to bleed internally. By the time EMTs show up to try and offer you assistance and get you to the hospital, doctors may not have enough time to save you, right? So you could potentially die because of the internal bleeding that you've experienced and the impact that it's had on your organs. Other ways that your organs can be impacted are punctured lungs, bruised livers, all kinds of things, right? We have these delicate organs in our bodies. And so we want to make sure we are driving safe. In order for us to drive safe, it is our responsibility to make sure we are not under the influence of any substance, that we're not under the influence of any substance. And so I want to encourage you all to live drug-free lives and to make sure that if you're riding in a car with someone, that they too are living a drug-free life and that they are not under the influence of a substance, because you don't want them to put your life at risk and you don't want them to put their lives at risk, especially since it's someone you know. And so I am going to stop there. All right. Hopefully you all were able to learn some really good information there. And what we are, let's see. Okay, Jace asked, is there a way to tell that something someone gave you was tampered with? Kind of like laced with fentanyl or something else. So it's easier to tell if it is like something that was in a package, that came in a package. If the seal is broken, if the box or the package is open, then that makes it so much easier to tell. Now, if they were to have an open package already, and then they were to give you like a gummy ring or something out of that open package, something that I would do is if I feel like I need to think about this, then I would ask them, can I look at the package, right? And you can look at the package and you can read what's on it. Now, can you tell that fentanyl is in it? No, because the package, I'm sure, won't say fentanyl is on it or in it. But if marijuana is contained in the package and they actually bought it from a retailer, then it should say either marijuana, THC, maybe have a marijuana plant or something like that for you to be able to tell. So definitely something to think about. Sean, did you have a question or you want to make a comment? I saw you raise your hand. Okay, maybe not. All right. Any other questions that folks have, that any of you have in regards to substances? Is there a smell to it or is it completely odorless? So depending on the product, for some products that have like, they call it marijuana butter or like an oil in it, you might be able to, it'll smell a little different. But it could be something that is like candy and fairly sweet. And if that's the case, then it might just smell like sugar. For fentanyl, it will be odorless essentially. And so you wouldn't be able to tell. I think the most important thing that I would say is if you all at any point feel like you need to question something that you are being given, then 100%, I would say just don't. Like, don't take it, don't think about it, because it's important to just make different decisions and be responsible with your choices. All right. With that, one of our guest speakers sent a message while we've been on here, saying that they're unable to attend because an emergency came up, and that is Anna E. And so what I'm going to do is share her information in regards to Not When You're Angry. And so this is focused on emotional driving, because we know that we all, no matter what age, experience emotions. And with those emotions, we want to make sure that we are using them appropriately, we're managing them appropriately, and we're able to drive safely. So let's talk about emotions. I want you to type in the chat some emotions that you have experienced, some emotions that you've seen other people experience, or some emotions that you've heard of. So let me open the chat and then we'll see. I'm seeing sadness, anger, joy, heartbreak, sad, anger, heartbreak, lots of heartbreak. Interesting. What are some other emotions? Depression, happiness, sad, depression, sad, confused, confusion. Yes, there are a lot of emotions that are out there. I'm seeing rage, curiosity, gratitude, sadness, overexcitement, pride. So even excitement, right? Definitely an emotion that someone may experience. And so talk to me in the chat. What's something that makes you angry? Something that makes you angry. Maybe it's a particular, other drivers. Yes, I could definitely see that. That is common. Lying. Okay, so maybe that's when other people lie. Carelessness, inconvenience, traffic, betrayal, lies. Hiding things. Yeah, when people hide things from you, for sure. Helplessness. Drivers who tailgate you. Sneaky. AP classes make you angry. Poor Gemma. Yes, they can be a challenge. Passengers who tell you what to do, hypocrisy, manipulators. Okay, insulting drivers. Yes, there are a lot. Feel free to keep them coming, and I'll take a look at the chat in a bit. So there are a lot of things that make us angry, right? Or can make us angry. Now, what I want to know is, how does anger show up in your body? So when you start to feel angry, what comes up for you in your body? What does that look like? So when you start to feel angry, what does that look like? When you start to feel angry, what does that look like? All right, so I'm seeing, let me see, adrenaline, I shut down, stop thinking logically, fast breathing, overwhelming feeling that makes you act without thinking, trust being broken, and tears, you get heated up, can't speak, if I can beat you, I'll beat you, being betrayed. So some violence, heart racing, can't speak, injustice, tensing up, right? Yes, sweating, feeling hot, make you turn red, right? Yes. Anger can do all of those things in our bodies, right? It's important that we understand how to manage those feelings when they come up, because guess what? Every day is not going to be sunshine and rainbows. There are going to be some days where it's going to be cloudy, and not just physically cloudy, but maybe everything isn't perfect. And that can even happen when we are on the road, right? There are a couple people who said other drivers make them angry. Sometimes it's the passengers in our vehicle because they can cause a distraction. Maybe when we are at school and then we leave school and we get in our car, because for those of you that are going to do the scholarship, if you're still in school and you end up getting your license, maybe you start driving to and from your house, right? You're going to school and so forth. Maybe something happens at school and it pisses you off. It's important that we understand how to cope with the feelings we're experiencing. How can we manage those feelings, especially the ones that can cause us to be distracted, especially when we experience a big emotion and it ends up shaping the way that we drive. Some things that I want to encourage you all to do are think about things that you enjoy, things that you can focus your attention on. So, for example, maybe art is something that you like, or writing. Maybe you need to get more rest, or you just want to get more rest. I enjoy taking naps as a form of self care, and I've enjoyed it since I was a kid. If you're driving and you start to feel overwhelmed, or you're experiencing any kind of emotion, even excitement can cause us to be distracted. I want to encourage you to take some deep breaths, maybe call someone before you start driving so you can kind of share and get those feelings out. If you have an opportunity to do one of these self-care things that are on here, then you can feel free to do that, including taking a walk around the car. You also want to make sure you can understand the alternatives that you have, because sometimes it's listening to music. Music can be a great way to help you calm down and refocus. So then that way you can drive safely, because you have options. And so I mentioned breathing. There are some things that you can do, and I'd like for everybody to try this. We're going to do some 5-finger breathing before we turn it over to our next speaker, which is Jacob. I want you to hold out one of your hands typically people hold out their non-dominant hand, but I want you to hold out a hand in front of you. I want you to take your other hand and take your index finger. We are going to trace our hand that is out, and that is going to help us control our breathing. So as we are tracing, every time we go up, we are going to breathe in. Every time we go out, we breathe out. And so 5-finger breathing is something that you can do if you are, before you get ready to drive, or if you need to pull over so you can kind of calm down. It's something that you can also imagine. Maybe you're sitting in school and those AP classes are pissing you off, then feel free to do some 5-finger breathing. Even if you take your palm and put it on your thigh and start to trace it that way so nobody sees you sticking your hand out, that can be a really great option. So let's go ahead and try it. All right, on my count. So I want everyone to breathe in, and we're gonna go up our thumb, and at the top, you're gonna hold and then breathe out. All right. We're going to do our index finger. So breathe in. We're going to go up to the top and hold, and exhale as we bring it down. All right. Our middle finger, we're going to go up and inhale and stop at the top and exhale. Our ring finger, we're going to go up, stop at the top. We're going to exhale, going down. And then our pinky finger, we're going to go up to the top and hold, and then exhale down and push all the air out. So I would suggest you do the 5-finger breathing a few times, so then that way it can help you center your breath. Additionally, there's color breathing. And so how this works is you look at, you think about a color and you identify that with the current emotions that you're experiencing. And then you identify a different color that you connect with a different emotion that you would like to start experiencing. So for example, a lot of people put sadness in the chat. So if I'm feeling sad, then maybe I think sad is dark blue. And maybe I want to feel happy, and I want to feel the warmth of happiness. And so I say that it's yellow. Then what I can do is breathe in yellow, right? So I'm going to visualize me breathing in yellow, and I'm going to inhale. And as my lungs are filling up with air, I'm thinking yellow and happiness and warmth and all the things that happiness connects to. And then I'm going to exhale the blue emotion, that sadness that I'm experiencing, so I can get it out of my body. And remember, it's a visualization while you're doing it. And this is something that can help you as you are figuring out how to shift those emotions and to focus on something different. So we want to encourage you to continue to nurture self-care, nurture taking care of yourself, especially if you are on the road and you're experiencing emotions like anger or sadness or frustration or rage. So then that way you are able to make different decisions. You're able to make sure you get behind the wheel safely. And so understand that feelings are temporary. You might experience one sadness now, but 30 minutes later, you may experience excitement. Also consider your options. What are some alternatives or some things that you can do to take care of yourself in the moment? And please be kind to yourself, because it is extremely important. All right, so with that, we have now concluded that portion, and we are going to have Jacob with Street Racing Kills share his story, and Lily is going to be sharing his slides. So let me see that Jacob is on. All right, I am not seeing Jacob right now. So what we will do is transition to Kahoot with Yashima. All right, Yashima, you want to come off, unmute yourself, and I will pull up Kahoot. Can you explain to everyone how to play Kahoot?
Of course, thanks, Jen. So the first thing is we're gonna either provide you with a code or a QR code. You use your phone to scan it. Then you will be prompted with a character. You can decorate and customize your character. Sometimes they have dogs, penguins, and different characters. You put your name. Make sure you don't put like no Buttercup 47. Put like your first name at least, so we can identify the winners and have fun. That's the biggest thing.
All right, so let me pull up the Kahoot. I didn't want anybody to see the questions or the answers, so here we go. All right, so the first 100 people, preferably the teens, can play. So Yashima, would you like to read out the game plan for everyone?
All right, everyone, let's go ahead and win some games. Everybody get started. Attention. Come on, Connie. Let's go ahead. You want to play Kahoot? Come on.
So game pin is 3, 2, 6, 7, 1, 2.
You guys get ready to play. Oh, we have Brian, Itzel, Abikawi.
Yes, and please use your name. So then that way when we identify the winner, you can get the correct people win their gift card.
He's ready to win. Come on. Some prizes.
We also have a QR code up there for those who prefer the QR code.
Hi, can I say something?
21 so far.
Yes, Roland, what's going on?
Okay, actually, I don't really understand how this game is gonna be played. How it's gonna be.
So to join Kahoot, you need to go to www.kahoot.it or .it, and then you need to type in the PIN, or you can scan the QR code.
So I'm gonna leave the group to go to the site, or I don't understand.
No, you should, if you're using your phone, you can stay on Zoom. I just put, oh wait, let me put the link in the chat.
So,
all right,
okay,
so if you click
much.
the link in the chat, then it should ask you for the game pin, and then you need to put 326712.
Okay, after that, what next?
And then that's it. It should ask you to put your name, and then you can go from there.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I will appreciate it. I'll go for it. Let me log in now.
Okay, sounds good. All right, Yashima, turning it back over to you.
Okay. So, also, you guys can be like, how can I say it? You're gonna be prompted with some questions, and then there's like different shades of colors, like it could be red, blue, or yellow, and you guys click on the answer when the question's prompted. Click on the answer to basically see which one you believe is true. I hope that makes sense.
All right, so I think, Yashima, what do you think? We'll give it one more minute for people to jump on, and then we'll get going.
Of course, yeah. I'm gonna make sure everybody joins.
Should we put a timer, Jen? I had a timer going, guys. You guys have 1 more minute to win some prizes.
Yep.
We really want you to play and win a gift card.
What do they win? What do they win?
Hey, Jen, what are some of our amazing
Yogurtland.
prizes?
Your Yogurtland gift card.
Ooh, nice.
And I know that was one of the favorite desserts was yogurt. Ice cream.
All right.
Question.
Yashima, you ready?
Yes.
All right. I am going to start the instructions again. So after you join, after you put in the pin, you should be able to put your name. And when we press start, then the game will start. So Yashima, can you explain what they do after the game starts?
So there is like some options, like there either is like shapes or colors, and you press on those shapes or those colors on which question or answer you think is correct. Like you're prompted a question, and then you click on. Pardon me?
Is it a raffle?
I quite couldn't hear you.
Okay, because I
think he's talking about
the valid.
Right, so what we'll do is we're gonna flow through the game. The first one is about Jacob, and since he has not spoken yet, you can just guess, and then we'll see who gets it right. So Yashima, back to you. I'm gonna press start and mute my mic.
Of course. What items was? Sorry, I'm trying to see my screen. You guys can also see the question on there as well, but I'm just trying to pull mine up.
So it says, what cultural item was Jacob's friends teasing him about the night of the crash?
Jacob is.
The correct answer is a bidet.
Yes, I was there. I remember him.
Yashima, are you able to see it now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We are going to go to our next question. And do you want to announce the leaderboard too?
We have Sean with 965 points. And we have, it went real fast.
All right, which of the following is correct, everyone? You can get a DUI, but it's not as serious as an alcohol DUI. You can get a DUI for driving high. You can get a DUI for driving high. Or you can't get a DUI for driving high. Or you can get a DUI, but not if you're a medical card holder. What do we get? 17% said you can get a DUI for driving high. So who's winning? Abigail. Abigail's son. Yes, Abigail is winning.
All right. Congrats, Abigail, for moving up. All right. Yashima is going to read our next one.
The specific, wait, let me see.
Oh, I think maybe because your thing is covering it. So the specific harms caused by street racing include vehicle crashes, increase in commercial revenue, noise, both red and yellow. The correct answer is both red and yellow, and that is vehicle crashes and noise.
Thank you, Jen. Yeah, you noticed.
Kyle.
No worries. Lily and I will take it, Yashima, since the thing is covering. All right.
Yeah.
Lily, you want to take the next one?
Yes, of course. Why was Street Racing Kills founded? So the number of street racing crashes each year because of the end of the war on drugs. To make sure what happened to Valentina wouldn't happen to any of you. Or too many adults lose their lives in car crashes. All right. Why was
4
Street Racing
seconds.
Kills founded? Let's see what everybody said.
23 people got it correct.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Angel and Lizette moved up. All right. If caught participating in a takeover, you can get a citation, get your vehicle impounded, get your license suspended, or all of the above. What do we think? Those answers are coming in. 43 people got it correct. All of the above.
Let's see who was the fastest.
All right, Lily, you're next.
All right, let's see this one. Distracted driving is any activity that diverts attention from driving, keeping your eyes on the road at all times while driving, talking, texting, eating, and drinking, talking to people in your vehicle, or any activity that increases your ability to drive straight. What is distracted driving?
All right.
Yes.
So we have 2 correct answers. Any activity that diverts attention from driving, and talking and texting, eating and drinking, and so forth. All right. Ooh, Brian O is in second place now. In 2021, there were blank deaths in the US from drowsy driving related crashes. Is it 220, 684, 710, or 1005?
Oof. That's a good question, huh?
684. 19 people got it correct. Oh, all right. Angel and Lizette, you just been staying at first. Lily.
No buckling up can result in being totally ejected from the vehicle in a crash, which is almost always deadly. True or false? Not buckling up can result in being totally ejected from the vehicle in a crash, which is almost always deadly. Is that true or is it false, everyone? Let's talk about seatbelt safety, everyone. Let's see. It's true.
That is true. 47 people. All right. What contributes to speeding? Running late, traffic, disregard for others and for the law, all of the above. Yes, all of the above is the correct answer. Oh, Angel and Lizette moved to second
Let's
place.
see. Abigail moved up. True or false, everyone? Driving impaired by any substance, alcohol or the drugs, whether legal or illegal, is against the law. True or false? Driving impaired by any substance, alcohol or the drugs, whether legal or illegal, is against the law. Is it true or is it false, everyone? Let's see.
True. Great job. Only
Let's
2
see who's in the
people that
lead.
got it incorrect.
Oh, Brian's trying to catch up again.
Final question. Lily, do you want to take
The
this one?
Yes. The most popular Halloween song, this is my favorite by everyone. The most popular Halloween song is In Order from 1 to 4. Time Rap from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Thriller by Michael Jackson. This is Halloween from Nightmare Before Christmas. Or Monster Mash by Bobby Pickett. So what is the most popular Halloween song?
And so for this one, you have to put it in order. So that's how you get the most points.
1 to 4.
This
is a
could
good one.
literally change the entire game. What do you think, Yashima?
Honestly, I don't know. Let's see.
I think it's Michael Jackson, but that's just because I like it. But I don't think it's gonna be Michael Jackson.
5 seconds to get your answer.
Oh my God, everyone. Come on, put him in order. Put him in order.
Whoa. 5 people got it correct.
What?
5
Wow.
out of 57 people who answered. Okay.
Wow.
So if you're looking at the screen, then you should see Monster Mash by Bobby Pickett, number 1. Thriller by Michael Jackson, number 2. This is Halloween from Nightmare Before Christmas. And then Time Warp from Rocky Horror Picture. So let's see who our winners are. In 3rd place,
Let's see.
Brian.
Woo, Brian.
2nd place, Angel and Lizette.
Who won first
in
prize?
1st place,
Abigail.
Abigail climbed back up to the top. And we do have some runner-ups, but unfortunately, we're going with top 3 for our prizes. All right.
Okay, let's see.
Angel and Lizette, you guys can share.
Fantastic job. Fantastic job. Thank you, everyone, for that. Hopefully you had some fun. And so what we are going to do is we're going to have our survey. And following our survey, we are going to hear from the founder of Street Racing Kills. So let me pull up our survey link. And so with the survey, we would like for you all to scan the QR code and complete the survey. And Lily, if you have the link, if you could put it in the chat.
The link for the what? What would you like me to share?
The DYD survey.
Is it this one right now, right here that you just put?
Yes.
Also, so you don't want me to share it. It was already there, right?
The link for the survey?
Oh, for the DYD survey?
Yes. So for those of you who are on a separate device and can scan the QR code with your phone, then please do. And then for the link for the survey, we will get it and put it in the chat.
Yes, I don't think I have it.
It's okay.
I'll get it right now.
You have it for DYD?
I'm going to send it to myself and then I'll put it in the chat.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
All right. 1 second. In the chat. While you guys fill out the survey, again, I want to say a huge thank you to Jen for being our MC and having such an amazing organization that she runs. Huge thank you to Lily from Street Racing Kills, the founder of the organization. You're going to hear her story in just a bit. But, you know, From Lily, like meeting Lily, honestly, guys, you know, when my niece was killed, I really did not think that I was going to be able to move forward with life. It was one of the most tragic things that my family has ever experienced. And when I met Lily, she gave me a second chance at being able to do something to honor my loved ones. And there's other people on this call that I know Martha's on the call. And, you know, she's really started an organization that truly gives people an opportunity to still honor their loved ones and help save lives. So, you know, it's such an honor to be here. Everybody that has joined you today and has volunteered to be here, you know, they're volunteers. They're sharing their stories. They're opening up with the hope to save lives. And I know all of us are so dedicated to what we do, and it's such an honor to be with all of you today.
Yes, thank you, Lori, for your sentiment. All right, so we have put the link in the chat, and I'm going to stop my share because everyone should have gotten the QR code if you needed to scan it. So please complete the survey as a part of receiving the Chick-fil-A gift card. Your participation in the survey is required. So please complete that. And we are going to thank you very much for letting us know you've completed the survey. I'm going to pass it to Lily, who is the founder of Street Racing Kills, as mentioned, and she is going to share Valentina's story.
Thank you so much, everyone. Hope everybody's doing amazing. You guys, this is really the end of the presentation almost. We're gonna finish with Valentina. Again, it is my honor to be here with you guys. I am the founder and executive director of Street Racing Kills. I'd like to introduce you to Valentina. You know, I'm sure that Valentina, when she was 16 years old, never ever thought in her life that she would be saving lives. She never would have thought that she will end up not being in this earth with us and this would happen. But also, neither her or myself would ever thought that we will end up with a nonprofit organization and create so many programs, especially this one for you guys, to talk to you all. Because I want to share her life. I want to share how she was, how she is to me, how spicy she was, how fun she was, how many things she wanted to do in life. And you can see her in this picture. I'm giving her a big kiss right there. She said, "Mommy, let's take a selfie." And instead of smiling, I grabbed her and I gave her a big kiss. Never did I know that picture would be, you know, all over the place, all over the world, all over the United States, and so many news and presentations. But yeah, you see Valentina right there. Valentina went to Torrance High. Anybody that lives here in Torrance, it's close in the South Bay. She was very happy having a lot of friends. However, there was one day when unfortunately a friend asked her if she could come to a party with her. And she called her best friend Brian. And her life was changed forever. It changed for that picture that you see right there, me giving her a kiss at a restaurant, until the next one when you see myself with my son at her funeral. When she went to that party with her friends, there was a lot of alcohol and drugs, and she had a drink. But her other friend had more than one. She had 3, 4, or 6, and she got really sick. Valentina made sure she took care of her friend. The boy that took him there was a child of 18. He was not driving for a long time. But he said, "I'll take you guys home." And on the way of taking them home, he saw a co-worker and they challenged each other to a race. As he raced 80 miles an hour on a residential street, he ended up crashing against an SUV. It was late at night. It was 1:30 in the morning. He didn't think anybody would be there. Neither the lady that was working the night shift. But he hit her so hard that he ended up crashing again against the fence. Unfortunately, Valentina was the only one that didn't make it. She also didn't have her seatbelt on while sitting in the back seat because she was only going 5 blocks on the street to the sleepover. The other friend was able to put her seatbelt on because she heard the street race, but Valentina was sleeping, taking a nap. on the way home because she was so tired. And the alcohol also hit her when she walked out. I found out for the first time what street racing was. And that's why we named the organization Street Racing Kills. I don't want her death to be in vain. And I hope with everything that we talked to you guys about today, you remember just one thing. Seatbelt, driving under the influence, texting and driving, street racing, speeding. I know that if that young man didn't race, I would have picked up Valentina the next day and be able to take her to the movies with her best friend. I miss Valentina with all my heart every day. And as a mom, I can't stop crying. I cry inside and I cry outside. And I will recommend for you guys to please don't make your mother cry. And remember that you have someone that loves you at home always. You have someone that loves you. It could be your friend, your mom, your dad, your cousin, your brother, your sister, your grandfather, your grandmother. You want someone that loves you and wants you to be in this world with them. We also don't want to see anybody behind bars because you end up hurting someone with your car. I want Valentina to save lives. And I show you this picture of the worst moment of my life when my son is hugging me. And I thought I was in a movie, that I was going to wake up the next day and she'd be right next to me. But I want to show you because this is reality. And I really hope that everybody that is here can live what Valentina couldn't live. To remember that you have to have that respect at the wheel. If you're driving already, or you're going to drive one day, please drive like Valentina was by your side. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lily. Yes, as folks are putting in the chat, sorry for your loss. We appreciate you for sharing Valentina's story and truly the reason why we are all here today. And so just want to thank you all very much for coming out tonight. Lily is going to close us out, and after she talks about the Respect the Road scholarship, she will talk to you all about how the distribution of Chick-fil-A gift cards are going to work. And for the raffles, we had so many people participate tonight. Also, please be mindful, you do have to stay on for the entire summit. So I see people jumping off. You have to stay on for the entire summit to receive your gift card. And so we're not finished yet. For the raffles, those winners will be selected later, and an email will be sent out to the folks who win, just so we can go through and make sure the teens are the one that are receiving the Amazon gift cards. So Lily, I'm going to turn it over to you to close us out. Here you go.
Oh, thank you so much, everyone, again for being here with us. And thank you for listening to all the stories that you heard today, from Bethany to Ali, to Valentina, what David Carroll, the director of the Youth Department of Development, shared with us. And I really, really, really want to thank our partners, Los Angeles County Department of Youth Development. So please, please, thank you for being here with us, for helping us with everything. AAA, who are the ones that actually are getting all the gift cards for us today. Coben Productions, Waymo, Alice Way, California Highway Patrol, Kiwanis International, Janice Hahn. This summit would not be possible without the support of Janice Hahn. And of course, connected to Lead, my partner in everything that helps me with everything. She is the back end of everything. So thank you so much. I would not be able to do so many things without connected to Lead, Jen. So thank you so much, Jen. Now, regarding the scholarship, everyone, please, if you already registered for the scholarship, and then you attended the summit, you will be getting next week a story in which you're going to have to do a survey. All the instructions will be there. You have a week to return survey. I'm
Essay.
sorry, essay. You have a week to return that essay. We will then go to the committee. A lot of people that are here are in the committee. Martha's going to be the committee this year. Lori, Jen, maybe we should throw in Yashima as well. Why not? Jamie White from Alice Way as well. So we have a lot of people. Actually, the director from Waymo will be there as well, checking all the essays. So please, if you're going to do that essay, we want you to answer that essay, make that essay from your heart. We don't want statistics or not just what you think of the crash that we're going to be saying. Okay? And so just make sure to register as well. If you haven't and you took this course, go ahead and apply today as well. Here's the slide. And again, I can't stress enough and thank you to all our partners and everybody that was here today. Lori, thank you for sharing. Martha, thank you so much for being here. Yashima, thank you for helping. So anybody that was here today was part of this today. We really appreciate your help in sharing your stories and being here with us. Anything else that you'd like to add, Jen?
Just put the link in the chat for the scholarship application. You must complete the application. All right. So there are 3 requirements in order to qualify for the scholarship. You have to attend tonight. You have to complete the application, and you have to write the essay. Okay, so those are the 3 requirements. I am going to copy the link and paste it in the chat again. So if you click this link, then it's going to take you to this website that is on my screen. Where it says apply now, you click that, it's going to take you down. And literally, this is so simple. You are going to put this information that you see here. And then once you submit it, then we will have your info and you will have completed step 2. If you've already completed the application, you do not need to do it again. And then next week, you will receive a car crash, so an article or story. And then what you'll do is write the essay Lily mentioned, and you have 1 week to get the essay back to us. All right, so before we jump off, we just want to see if anybody has any questions about the scholarship. And for the Chick-fil-A gift cards, Lily has already answered that. For the essay, you are going to return it via email. So you're going to send it back via email.
With all the instructions. We will send them all the instructions.
Yes, you will get all the instructions and you will get the article or story. So the steps for the scholarship, you need to have attended tonight, which you all did. You need to complete the application. So when you complete the application, that is step 2. Step 3 is completing the essay and emailing it to us. So no, the scholarship is not linked to the gift card. The scholarship is for free driving school. Free driving school.
Everybody that's here tonight will get a gift card, all our team for attending, and those of you that stood to the end are going to get the gift card.
Yes, exactly. So if you're a teenager and you are here all the way, or a student, maybe if you're maybe 19, 20, you will receive your gift card. And we will email you the gift card on Monday.
All right, so we are done for tonight. Want to say thank you to everyone for attending and for everything that was shared. And everyone have a great night.
Thank you, everyone.
Everybody. Happy
Thank you for joining us.
Friday.
Go have dinner, everyone.
Thank you.